Hey guys, I have for you an all-day wear test today. I'm really excited about this one. I ran out and purchased these pretty much like the day or the day after they were released, and I really wanted to get to recording this video because I know a lot of people are wondering about this line of products. So what I am talking about is the Primed and Peachy primer and foundation from Too Faced. This is from their new Peaches and Cream line, which they have so many products. They've got the eyeshadow palette, lipsticks, but they came out with a whole bunch of face products with this lineup, which I was kind of surprised about because their peach line kind of revolves around the fact that everything smells like peaches, and I don't really usually equate that to like foundations and primers. But I figured I wanted to try these. Like I really was excited to try these because they are marketed towards being matte. So like it's called the Comfort Matte Foundation. So you guys know I have a very oily skin. If you don't know that, it's because you're new here because I talk about it all the time, so welcome. I have a really oily skin. Like I'm not acne prone, but my skin produces a ton of oil throughout the day. Usually I start getting oily about 3 hours after I start putting on a foundation, and you know, I have to blot and repowder throughout the day to maintain my face basically. So that's why I like to do all day wear tests for my fellow oily skin people, and those of you that aren't too, you can see how it works. But yeah, that's what I'm gonna do today. So because I have the primer and foundation, I figured usually when a brand comes out with a primer and foundation that are from the same line, it's because they want them to go together. They want them to work together. But I really want to also just try the foundation by itself. So I'm going to do half my face with a primer and half without. So my right side of my face will not have a primer and my left side will have the primer. To you it's opposite, but to me I'll remember it that way. So right side, no primer. So this is what the packaging looks like on the Primed and Peachy Cooling Matte Skin Perfecting Primer. Again, I wanted to try this because it's called matte and I love anything that is called matte. Right on the box it tells you what it's supposed to do. Refreshing peach and sweet fig cream is infused in our long-lasting cooling matte primer that blurs and smooths your complexion with a brightening peach tint that works on any skin tone. Wear alone or under foundation for a mattifying, soft focused finish that's lightweight, comfortable, and smells as good as it feels. I never really understand it when companies say wear your primer alone. Like I guess if you want to just completely blur out your pores but you don't want to wear makeup, but still, if I'm going to put anything on my face, I'm probably going to put on, you know, foundation. It does have a pump. I will say the packaging on both of these, I love it. I love when, if a company is going to do a bottle packaging, when they then also put a pump on it. I really appreciate that. So it does have a little bit of a peach tint, and let's go to town. Little bit of a cooling effect. Like I wouldn't say my skin is icy freezing or anything like that. It's just slightly cooling. It has a nice scent. It's not that kind of peaches and cream scent like I maybe expected. It's more of just like a light fresh peach scent, if that makes sense. So I have primed this side of my face and we will not prime this side. The primer has been sitting on my face now for about 2 minutes and it's very kind of weightless. Like I barely, if I didn't know I put something on my face, I wouldn't feel a thing. But yet when I kind of touch my forehead here, I could feel it's slightly smoother. So next is the Peach Perfect Comfort Matte Foundation. I got the shade Nude. I was able to test them out in store. They seem to have an okay shade range. Like there's 12 different shades. So there's kind of a few that were light, a few that were medium, and a few that were dark. So it's not really totally lacking in shades, but it's not a huge range either. I just pulled it up on Sephora. It says it's a medium coverage, 14-hour wear, comfortable matte foundation for flawless looking complexion. It says this transfer resistant oil controlling foundation creates a smooth canvas for comfortable wear using exclusive comfort matte technology, blah blah blah, that is never cakey or mask like. So it says right there in the description it is oil controlling. So I'm going to do the side that has the primer with a brush, and I'm going to do the non-primer side with my L'Oreal Infallible Beauty Sponge, which I love. If you don't have one of these, go get them. They're awesome. And let's just start with this side. So it's slightly runny. It's not like a very thick consistency. Yeah, okay, so this also has that kind of light, fresh peach smell. It's not like a sweet peaches and cream smell. With a beauty blender with one layer, I would say that is actually more like light to medium coverage. Like it's evened out my skin tone, but it hasn't really covered anything. It hasn't covered my spider veins. It hasn't covered any freckles at all. It's a good shade match. Like this is my summertime shade right now. We are just started September, so this is like the deepest color I'm gonna get all year, and it matches me perfectly, which doesn't say good things for the winter because it'll be too dark then. But it's a perfect match right now. But yeah, I'm gonna try building this up, which I don't normally try. I'm usually satisfied with one layer of most foundations, but I don't know, it's not really doing enough for me. Okay, so as you can see, it is buildable, which is good news that you can build it up, but it's probably not good news for those of us that like a little more coverage because it means we're gonna go through the bottle a lot faster. But at least I was able to build it up. It's now covering up those veins, and maybe a couple freckles are still slightly visible, but for the most part it's covered up. So yeah, I would say it's buildable to a medium finish, but it doesn't start out that way. So I'm just going to use my Beauty Junkies angled Kabuki brush. I like this brush a lot. It usually gives a pretty streak-free finish. I feel like that gave a little bit more coverage in one go than the Beauty Blender did. There's no streaks at all. I'm still seeing a little bit, so I do still feel like I need a little bit more coverage, like over my redness right here, for example, but not necessarily like on my forehead. So a brush is probably the better way to go if you want a little bit more coverage to begin with. So keeping in mind that this is the side with the primer, I don't necessarily feel like once I put the foundation on that I see any difference in the smoothness of my skin. Normally I do kind of try to fill pores here, here, and here, and I'm not really seeing a big difference in terms of pore filling. Let me just zoom you in. I'm filming this early in the morning, so I know it's not the best lighting. I will get you shots later in natural light, but that's what it looks like close up when it is very first applied. And for something that is a matte foundation, this still is not fully dried down. So I'm definitely gonna have to set it with a powder. Usually with matte foundations, I like it when they kind of go to a powder finish. This one isn't really doing that. Like, it's still, I feel moisture in it. I definitely feel moisture, which is good. Even if you're oily, you don't want to be super dry because that just makes your skin overproduce oil. So we'll see, maybe it's a good thing, but I just wanted to mention it because even after this has been on my face for probably about 8 minutes-ish, it's still slightly tacky. So it's 9:21 a.m. Let's call that the check-in time. I'm gonna put on the rest of my makeup and I'll come right back. Okay, so the rest of my makeup is done. I'm really, really liking the way this foundation is looking. So I'm ready to test this out all day for you. I will do a couple check-ins in natural lighting. I'm about to film a collab video, which should actually already be up by the time you're seeing this. So I'll link that down below. It's gonna be my top 10 favorite fall drugstore items. So I'll link that for you. That should be a lot of fun. And that's it for now. I will check in with you soon. Okay guys, it's 12:37, so I've had this on for pretty much exactly 3 hours now. I'm having trouble holding the camera because I cut 3 of my fingers in a broken perfume bottle incident. So I'm also a little shaky because I'm upset about what happened. Anyway, checking in on the foundation. See how upset I am? Okay, I'm fine. Anyway, I feel like very dewy. You know, like it's not a matte look. I was just looking in the mirror and I definitely don't feel like this is among the ranks of my top favorite matte foundations. Just as a first impression, obviously this is the first day I'm trying it, But I have foundations that will last me a good 4 or 5 hours before I feel the need to blot. We are only at hour 3, and like I said, even with regular foundations without a mattifying primer, I get oily around hour 3. So I really don't see any difference to my oil production as of yet. So this is the side without the mattifying primer. So I'm just gonna blot and we'll see how oily that is, and then I'll do it on the other side. So that's about an average amount of oil for me, I would say. And here is the primed side. What do you think? I know that might be gross to some people. To me, it looks like this is the primed side one. It looks like they're pretty much the same when I look at them. Yeah, you guys, I don't feel like there's any difference in what I just blotted off my face. Also, I feel like, I don't know if you could tell here, but I was really noticing it in other lighting. I feel like it's oxidized slightly too, so I don't know, I'm just not like overly impressed with this, especially being marketed as a mattifying foundation. I'll check in with you soon. Hey guys, it is 4:07. Don't be alarmed, it's the same day. I just changed my outfit and put my hair up, but you can tell I'm wearing the same makeup. I wanted to kind of do just a little check-in. I'm standing right by a window, so again, in natural light. Every time I look at myself in non-natural light, this foundation looks so orange on my face and it looks like it's totally oxidized. Every time I look at myself in natural light, it looks nice. I don't know. I don't really know what to say about that other than it's just an observation I thought I would make. But one thing that I have observed just wearing this throughout the day is that it really isn't doing anything at all for my oil. Like not even minimally. And I'm looking at this side. So this is the side that I primed, and there is absolutely no difference in the way my pores look on this side as there is on this side. So for a primer that's supposed to be mattifying and pore filling, it is not pore filling at all. Like not even a little bit. I was really looking closely in the mirror and I literally see no difference. Now I actually got a sample of the Becca, I can't remember what it's called because I don't have the full size. I got a sample of it. The new Becca primer, I think it's called the Velvet Blurring Primer or something like that. That one is so much better than this one, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to end up buying it. This one is just doing nothing for me, and I am fairly certain I'm going to return it. Let me see if I can give you a real good close-up of my forehead. Do not be alarmed by my pores. Okay, so extreme close-up. Like I said, don't be scared. This is the prime side, and this is the non-prime side. I don't see any difference. I see pores on both sides that are really not filled in at all. You can see in the middle there, I have quite a few pores here that are not filled in. By the way, the foundation is rubbing off on my nose. There's a nice good shot of the pores on my cheeks. This is the part of my face that gets a lot of oil, and that is primed. And that doesn't look blurred to me. So like I said, don't be alarmed by the extreme close-up. But yeah, I am not really all that impressed with this foundation. Definitely not impressed with the primer. I'll give the foundation one more shot. I've been wearing it now for 7 hours. I don't see it getting any better, you guys. I just powdered, by the way. I really don't see any difference between this foundation and just a regular non-mattifying foundation that I have in my collection. Like, I have enough foundations that I've tested throughout the years that I know the difference between one that's mattifying and not, and this just performs like a hydrating foundation. To me, it's not mattifying in the slightest, so I am super disappointed. I'm gonna give the foundation probably one more shot tomorrow and try it with a different primer. In fact, I'll probably try it with that Becca primer. But I just don't see the need in keeping either one of these things in my collection if they're really not doing anything for me. So I don't think there's any use in me keeping you on the hook any longer and continuing this all day wear test any longer. I'm not saying it's the worst foundation in the world at all. It's definitely not the worst foundation in the world, but it is not mattifying. It is not delivering to me the properties that it's claiming to deliver. So for me, that makes it not worth the price tag. That's just my personal opinion. If you purchase it and it works for you, I'm really happy, but if you're asking for my recommendation as an oily skin person, I would tell you to absolutely steer clear of it. There are way better ones high-end drugstore that will control your oil better than this one will, and I absolutely would say steer clear of the primer. So those are my thoughts. I hope that it helped. I know it's a little bit of a different style. I'm just like practically vlogging at this point, but I want to take this makeup off, especially because I don't even know what this black smudge is under my eye. Like, it's not my eyeliner. Maybe it's my mascara. Anyway, I gotta wash this makeup off, and I just want to be done with this makeup today. So I hope that this helped you out. Leave me any questions or comments that you have, and definitely subscribe if you're new around here. I'd love to see you around in the future. That's it for today. I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.